Scott was reported missing after she vanished 18 days ago during her overnight shift at a nursing home in Northeast Philadelphia. And then on October 14th, Keon King turned himself over to police. He was charged with kidnapping.
And the very next day, police searched near an abandoned school. There was no sign of Kada Scott in that area. A tip led police back to that same area 4 days later, and that's when Scott's body was found. Then King faced another round of charges. That brings us to this afternoon when police announced a third set of charges against King. He is facing about 20 charges in all, including murder, abuse of a corpse, arson, stalking, and robbery.
Remember Kada Scott, the 23-year-old from Philadelphia who vanished after leaving work early? Well, the case just took a massive turn. New evidence has emerged that's absolutely chilling. Text messages, surveillance footage, a burned car, and now murder charges. What investigators found changes everything we thought we knew about that night. If you haven't subscribed to Mystorcrimes yet, do it right now. Hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon because cases like this are exactly why you need to stay updated. These stories matter, and you don't want to miss what happens next. So let me catch you up real quick if you're just joining us. Kada Scott disappeared on October 4th after leaving her overnight shift at an assisted living facility around 10:30 p.m. Her car was found in the parking lot, but all her belongings were gone. 2 weeks later, her remains were discovered behind a vacant school in East Germantown. DNA testing confirmed it was her. 21-year-old Keon King was arrested and charged with kidnapping, false imprisonment, and stalking. We told you about his history of violence, about the previous case that got dropped, about the other women who came forward. But now we know how she died, and the details that have come out are absolutely devastating. On October 23rd, Keon King was officially charged with murder. Not just kidnapping anymore. Murder. The Philadelphia Medical Examiner's office ruled Kada Scott's death a homicide, and here's what they found. She died from a gunshot wound to the head. A gunshot wound. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a tragic mistake. Someone put a gun to this young woman's head and pulled the trigger. Her date of death is listed as October 18th, which is the same day her remains were found. King was arraigned on Thursday on that murder charge, and this time there's no bail. He's being held without bail. The court is making absolutely sure he doesn't go anywhere while this case moves forward. And honestly, after what we're about to discuss, you'll understand why. But the murder charge isn't even the most shocking part of this update. King is now facing a mountain of additional charges. We're talking robbery, theft, violation of the Uniform Firearms Act, tamper with evidence, abuse of a corpse, conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and possessing an instrument of crime. This isn't just about what he did to Kada. This is about everything he did to cover it up.
Brings us to this afternoon when police announced a third set of charges against King. He is facing about 20 charges in all, including murder, abuse of a corpse, arson, stalking, and robbery.
Everything he did to try to get away with it. Now here's where this case gets really disturbing, and I need you to pay close attention to this because the evidence that came out is going to change how you see this entire story. Investigators went through Kada's phone records and text messages, and what they found raises so many questions that I don't even know where to start. On October 4th at 10:07 in the morning, almost 12 hours before Kada disappeared, she sent a text message to a phone number. The message said, and I'm quoting directly here, "Kidnap me again. Kidnap me again." Those 3 words. King replied back, "Better be up too." Now, when you first read that, your mind probably goes to a lot of places. What does that mean? Was there a previous interaction between them? Was this some kind of relationship situation? Was she being coerced or manipulated? The text is confusing and honestly heartbreaking because we don't know the full context. But what we do know is that police have linked that phone number directly to Keon King. Let me go back even further because there's more. On October 2nd, 2 days before Kada disappeared, she received a text that said, "Yo, Kada, this my new number." Kada responded like any of us would. She asked, "Who dis?" The person on the other end identified himself as Kel. Investigators have confirmed that Kel is Keon King. So they were in communication. They knew each other. This wasn't a random attack by a stranger. There was some kind of connection, some kind of prior interaction that we're still trying to understand. But let's move to what happened that night, because investigators have now pieced together an incredibly detailed timeline. And when you see how calculated this was, it's going to make your stomach turn. It all starts on October 3rd, the night before Kada disappeared. Just before midnight, a food delivery worker left their Hyundai Accent running while they dropped off an order. Someone stole that car. Just took it while it was sitting there unattended. According to court records, that someone was Keon King. He stole a vehicle, and he was going to use it in what came next. Fast forward to October 4th. Kada leaves her family's home around 9:45 p.m. to head to her overnight shift. Everything seems normal. She gets to work. But then something happens. A co-worker told police that they last saw Kada around 10 p.m. outside the workplace. And here's the thing, Kada was visibly upset. The co-worker overheard her on the phone saying, "I can't believe you're calling me about this." She was angry. She was frustrated. Whatever conversation she was having, it wasn't a good one. Then Kada walked toward a dark-colored SUV. And the moment she got close to it, that vehicle left immediately. Just drove off. That was the last time anyone saw Kada Scott alive. At 10:24 p.m., Kada's phone goes offline. Completely offline. No more signal. No more location data. Nothing. Just 4 minutes later, at 10:28 p.m., that stolen Hyundai Accent that King took the night before parks at Aubrey Recreation Center. And you know what's right near that recreation center? The vacant school where Kada's body was eventually found. That car stays parked there for more than 2 days. 2 entire days.
We recovered additional evidence, including video evidence that confirms that this vehicle, we believe, is the vehicle that Mr. Keon King used to move Ms. Scott.
Now here's where this gets even more disturbing. And this is where we start to realize that King might not have been working alone. On October 5th at 11:39 p.m., surveillance cameras caught King's registered Toyota Camry parking at that same recreation center. His actual car this time, not the stolen one. 2 people get out of that vehicle. 2 people. The cameras capture them both. For hours later, those same cameras show 2 individuals taking a large object out of the passenger side of the vehicle. The object is consistent with the size and shape of a human body. They're moving something heavy, something they don't want anyone to see, and they're taking it toward the area where Kada's remains would eventually be discovered weeks later. So let me be clear about what this means. Investigators believe that at least one other person helped Keon King move Kada's body and bury it behind that closed school. There's someone else out there who participated in this. Someone else who helped dispose of her remains. Someone else who knew what happened and said nothing while her family was desperately searching for her. Philadelphia Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel held a community meeting, and he made it very clear that this investigation is far from over.
Continue to pursue anyone who helped, who concealed, who participated in this act. We will not stop.
He told residents, "We continue to pursue anyone who helped, who concealed, who participated in this act." They're actively looking for accomplices right now. And if you know something, if you saw something, they want to hear from you. But wait, there's more to this story. Remember I mentioned that stolen Hyundai Accent? The one that was parked at the recreation center for 2 days? Well, officials got a tip that led them to that vehicle. Except when they found it, it had been burned. Completely burned. On October 7th, just 3 days after Kada disappeared, someone set that car on fire. They were trying to destroy evidence. By the time investigators tracked it down, the vehicle had already been towed to a junkyard and compacted. Compacted? Someone really didn't want that car to be examined. But here's the thing about modern investigations. Even when you try to destroy evidence, there are always traces left behind. Investigators were able to obtain surveillance video that shows this Hyundai is the car that was used to move Kada to the location where her remains were found. Think about the level of planning that went into this. Stealing a car the night before, using it to move a body, burning it to destroy evidence, having at least one other person help you. This wasn't impulsive. This wasn't a heat-of-the-moment situation. This was calculated. This was methodical. And that makes it so much worse. Now I want to show you something, because King's brother actually made a video documenting some of King's behavior, and it gives you insight into exactly who this person is and what he's capable of. We're going to play some of that footage for you right now, because it's important that you see this.
Assistant District Attorney Ashley Kozlowski is referring to this cell phone video shared on social media that's now being used as part of their investigation. Officials say it was taken earlier this year at a home in North Philadelphia.
What you're seeing in the video is a cell phone video that was taken by a person that was inside that residence.
As we wait for King's preliminary hearing, and as investigators continue hunting down his accomplices, I want us to think about something bigger here. Because this case isn't just about one murder. It's about a pattern that nobody stopped. It's about warning signs that were ignored. It's about a system that failed multiple times before Kada Scott lost her life. Remember, King had already been arrested earlier in 2024 for kidnapping and strangling another woman. That case was dropped when the victim didn't show up to court because King was out on bail and she was terrified. There was video evidence. There were witnesses. There was everything needed to put him away. But the system let him walk. And then he killed someone. Now there are new charges. Now there's a murder. Now Kada's family has to bury their daughter. Now her mom has to live the rest of her life, knowing that her baby girl sent a text saying, "Kidnap me again," just hours before she was shot in the head. How do you even process that as a parent? How do you make sense of it? And here's what keeps me up at night about this case. Those text messages. "Kidnap me again." What was the dynamic between Kada and King? Was she being manipulated? Was there coercion involved? Was this some kind of toxic situation she was trapped in? Did she reach out to him that day? Or was she responding to pressure from him? We may never know the full story, but what we do know is that whatever relationship or interaction existed between them, it ended with her death. There's also the accomplice question. Who helped him? Who looked at Keon King moving a body and said, "Yeah, I'll help you with that"? Who was willing to participate in burying a young woman behind a school and then go home and live their normal life while her family was searching? What kind of person does that? And how many other people knew what happened but stayed silent? Let me ask you something, and I really want you to think about this. How many people in your life do you truly know? How many people are hiding things? How many dangerous individuals are walking around your neighborhood right now because the justice system gave them a second chance they didn't deserve? How many victims could have been saved if someone had just connected the dots earlier? This case shows us that sometimes the red flags are waving right in front of our faces. Multiple women reported King. There was video evidence of his behavior. There were protection orders. There were prior charges. Everything was there. But it took someone's death before the system finally decided to take it seriously. And that's not okay. That can never be okay. Kada Scott was 23 years old. She had just graduated from Penn State. She was working in caregiving, helping elderly people, making a difference in their lives. She had dreams. She had plans. She had a future. And all of that was taken away by someone who should have been behind bars already, by someone who had already shown everyone exactly who he was. So, what do we do with this information? How do we make sure this doesn't keep happening? I think it starts with all of us paying attention. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. When women come forward with accusations of violence, listen to them. When there's evidence of dangerous behavior, don't wait for a tragedy to take it seriously. Kada Scott's case should never have happened. The system had every opportunity to prevent this, and it failed. If this story affected you, if it made you angry, if it made you sad, I need you to do something right now, like this video. Share it everywhere. Get Kada's story out there. Subscribe to Mystorcrimes because we're not going to stop telling these stories until something changes. Click that bell icon so you never miss an update on this case or any other case we cover. And drop a comment below. Tell me what you think about those text messages. Tell me what you think should happen to the accomplices. Tell me how we fix a system that keeps failing victims. Most importantly, if you see something, say something. If you know anything about this case, if you know who helped Keon King, contact Philadelphia police. Don't let anyone else become another statistic. Don't let another family go through what Kada Scott's family is going through. Rest in peace, Kada. Your story matters. Your life mattered. And we're going to make sure people remember your name.